This is how I made this beautiful gingerbread train. So in full disclosure, the base of the train was plain red and it was from Kohl's, and I'll show you that in this little picture here. So I wanted a couple of things. I wanted a gingerbread train. I wanted like a big one, and typically the big gingerbread Claydough trains are really expensive, to the tune of hundreds of dollars. Yeah, I could make the base of the train, but I didn't want to take all that time doing that. So I found this really big train base at Kohl's, and I decided to fake bake it up and turn it into this candyland gingerbread train. So I'll show you all of the steps that I did and tell you where I got all the little pieces and show you step by step how you can do it. So you can see it's plain red and metal, and it had these really ugly plants in the back too. And so I ripped those out, and it's just kind of styrofoam and mulch back there. But I'm just taking some white chalk paint that I get from Michael's. I'll list it for you. And I'm just going to paint everything basically but the wheels. I like to leave the wheels how they were. And I'm adding a little bit of spackle back here just to recreate that base, because there are some holes in it when I pulled out the plants. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm using spackle as paint. This is spackle and Mod Podge and the color of paint that I wanted. And I wanted to do the body of the train a little bit darker, and I will list those colors for you. They are from Walmart, they're from Apple Barrel. But I'm basically taking the spackle and using it as paint. So see how it's kind of like a thick yogurt? And then all I'm doing is just spreading it on there as if it were icing on a cake. And I did that on top of all of that matte paint, because that is what will give you a very solid look to resurfacing this train. And this was hard for me. Like, you have to commit to this, and I'd never seen anybody do this, and so I had to take the risk of ruining my train by adding this fake gingerbread coating on there. So it's just spackle, Mod Podge, and paint, and you just spread it on until it's a nice coat. So I wanted the roof of the train to be a little bit of a different color. So I am using a lighter color of this spackle / Mod Podge / paint mixture. And I'm just going over the roof with like that. And you just spread it like it's frosting. And then I'm using a wet paintbrush to go over it to just smooth everything out. And that's just one of the tricks I use with my spackle in case there's any flaws in it. And now what I'm doing is I'm adding some more Mod Podge to my leftover spackle here in the same color. And I'm going to load it into a piping bag, and you do not need a tip. You see my daughter down there? You just hear a little head pop in. Sometimes she's my friend in my craft room, and she comes in there with me. But anyway, I'm going to take this very kind of runny, but not too runny, mixture of spackle and Mod Podge in the paint, just with extra Mod Podge so it's a little bit more runny, and I'm going to draw a pattern of an ice cream cone. So again, there's no tip. I've just cut a little hole in the end of the bag, and I'm just drawing diagonal stripes. They don't have to be perfect. Mine definitely aren't. You can go back and fill them in, and I also touch them up with a damp paintbrush as well. But you just draw your diagonal stripes. And I was going to do the whole train at first. I was going to do the front as well, but I decided not to. But you do have to wait until the side dries, and then you can flip the train over and you can do the back and the other side and let it dry on its side for a little while. It really doesn't take very long to dry this. It's very thin amount of spackle, so it's not going to take it a week to dry or something. It's going to take a couple of hours. So after you've finished your pattern, then what I did was I went all the way around the edge just to finish the edge and make it look nice. And here I am just touching it up a little bit if I thought it needed it, just with a little damp paintbrush. So now I'm going around the entire edge of the little back cart here. Now I'm rolling out some air dry foam clay, which I will also link for you in the description. And I'm using my waffle embosser. It's just a little embosser that I carry in my shop. And I'm gonna make a cone with that. So the cone's going to cover up the little smokestack on the train here. And because it needs to sit flush, I went ahead and cut off the bottom just with some scissors. Now it doesn't quite reach enough, so I'm just adding in another piece of clay, and then I'm going to take the embosser and blend in the pattern. Now I'm taking the same color of air dry foam clay and I'm rolling that out, and I'm going to make some cookies for the big wheels on each side and also for the front of the train. So it's just like making real cookies, and you just cut them with the cookie cutter. I don't know where I got this cooking cutter, but it is a pretty standard flower cookie cutter. So I'll try to find something like that for you to link. So after taking it out of the cutter, I'm just cleaning up the edges a little bit, smoothing them down. You're not going to see the back of the cookie, so I'm not too concerned about that. Now you could take some foil or a paintbrush or a toothbrush, and I'm just adding some texture to the cookies. You can see the pretty texture. It looks just like a cookie, but there is a little air bubble, so I just smoothed that out really quickly. So this is like the same mixture that I did the ice cream cone pattern with on the train car. It's just Mod Podge and paint and lightweight spackle. You make it like a thick yogurt, and then it will kind of act as a fake royal icing. And then I'm just going to add some embellishments in it, which I got from my shop. So I thought this little Santa would be so cute. And then I am using my candy shop sprinkles, which is a really beautiful bright rainbow and peppermint kind of Christmas candy mix. And it's all fake. You don't have to worry about attracting bugs or anything. I would not recommend using real food sprinkles on a craft project. And then I just added some glitter, and you can see how cute this cookie is. So now I'm going to make a cookie for the front of the train. And so I'm using my Peppermint Gingie sprinkles right here. They are also from my shop. And then I'm going to use a large peppermint lollipop in the front. It is made out of polymer clay. All of this is. And I'm just going to cut off the little stick on the fake lollipop so I can use it in the center as an accent. And I'm just adding some iridescent glitter here. And you can see how cute this one is too, and it kind of matches the wheels, so I like that. So now I'm going to work on the ice cream. So because there is a hole on that little smokestack, I'm going to go ahead and plug that with some air dry foam clay. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my drip. And again, the drip is the same as the royal icing. And I'm just going to do that all the way around, trying to make the drips look a little bit random. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a 1M tip, which is a star tip. And in the fake icing, you want it to be less runny. So you don't want to add as much Mod Podge or acrylic paint so that it holds up a little bit better. And you can see I kind of made my ice cream crooked. So I'm not going to touch that though. I'm going to just kind of smack the train. You could also smack whatever, if you had it on a piece of styrofoam or another surface, you could just tap that until your ice cream rights itself. Just a little tip. So then I just added a little fake cherry and some more matching sprinkles, which are both available in my shop. And I'm adding some more of the same matching glitter. And now I'm just piping little stars all the way around the ice cream cone just to make it look finished. And then I'm going to do the same thing, do little stars all the way around the roof of the train. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some little fake candies into that frosting. So I just wanted to do kind of a little shape on the top. I'm using the fake royal icing again. That's the one that has more Mod Podge in it, so it's a little bit runnier. And then I added in some fake sprinkles, and I was debating on what to put up there, but then I decided I wanted this little fake gumdrop that I bought at Walmart. I just added a little dab of the spackle on the top, and then I put a little candy as a fake cherry. So this is just some tacky glue, and then I took some red and white air dry foam clay and just rolled it into a worm. That's what we call it, a worm, and made it look like a candy cane, and then just glued that to the little window. I did that on both sides, and then I decorated the small window a little bit differently. I added on some tacky glue and then some little fake mints from my fake sprinkle mixes from my shop. These ornaments are from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just taking off the hook, and then I dug a little hole into the cart there, as you can see. It's just styrofoam, so you can just dig right into it, because I wanted to sink him down a little bit just to add a little bit of interest. It adds movement to your piece. Now that I played around with the decorations, I'm going to add some hot glue and then add some spackle to fill in the little trench that I made and add my other decor pieces. The fun part is starting to add all the little fake candies. I gave the gingerbread girl a little candy cane, and then I'm going to add some lollipops, gumdrops, and other assorted candies. And these Michael's trees, see that little Christmas tree in the back? They had candy canes on them, but they kind of fell off, so I'm just repairing that. The My Little Christmas are my favorite, and every single year at Hobby Lobby, they usually have this assortment of little candies, and so I go pick up a few packages every year when they're 50% off, just in case I have a project I want to add them to. And I like to fiddle with things. I don't even know if people notice all my little details, but that's what I'm into. And so I mess around and mess around and mess around with my candies until I'm satisfied. These sprinkles are my candy shop sprinkles from my shop, glamcandyboutique.etsy.com. And they just are so fun for Candyland decoration. So I tried several things to cover up the little, I don't know, poles that are kind of tying each card together, and I just wasn't satisfied with any. I tried glitter rope, I tried pipe cleaners, I tried spackle. I ended up with a paper straw, which I'll show you at the end. Now I wanted to leave those wheels as is, but then just add a little embellishment to them. So these little mints are from Hobby Lobby, and I pick those up every year as well. So if they're not there anymore, you can get them next year. And then I went ahead and added on my cookie wheel that I made earlier in the video. And I'm just adding on some spackle onto this little side piece of the engine. And I struggled with what to do with this as well, but I think it turned out fine. I added some spackle, then I added some fake cherries. That wasn't really doing it for me. I ended up with putting fake mints on it after trying several other things. So I wanted a little more decor on the engine, so You can see I have 3 little dots of the fake frosting there, and that's because sometimes surfaces don't want to grip that fake spackle, and you have to kind of start it with a little dab, and then it will accept it and it will stick. You can also add a little bit of glue or Mod Podge there too, just as a little tip. I'm just adding the stars, and then I'm going to add some of my rainbow gumdrops into the fake frosting. And I wanted to add a little more embellishment to the engine area underneath the windows. And I just pick up stuff here and there. I believe that these little snowflakes are from Dollar Tree. And then I just took some of the ball sprinkles and I glued those to the side of the car here. And I wanted to add some more candies, and these were Lollipops. They're from My Little Christmas from Hobby Lobby. And initially I'd taken off the stem. I was just thinking I'll just put them on as like little candies, but I actually didn't like that. So I glued the little sticks back on and then attached those to the car as well. So again, this is kind of like the fake royal icing recipe. It's just DAP lightweight spackle with a lot of extra Mod Podge in it because I want it to be a little bit runny, a little bit drippy. It's like a thick yogurt because you don't want it to completely run down your project, but you do want to be able to form these little drip shapes. And then I just take a damp paintbrush and I just touch up any of the drips that I think need it. And these are little rainbow polymer candy canes that I have in my shop, Glam Candy Boutique on Etsy. And I just wanted to surround the snowflake with those. So this is the other cookie I made earlier, and I wanted this for the front of the engine. So I'm just going to add that and add some other embellishments first, though. First, I did the frosting. Again, this is like the drippy one. And I just wanted to make it look like it was icing dripping off of this engine. And then I added some fake nonpareils. And then I used spackle, hot glue, and a little bit of Gorilla Glue, which is like a super glue, to hold on that front cookie. I thought this fake peppermint from Hobby Lobby would be really cute right here for the engine light. And then I went ahead and did some frosting around the window as well. So I need to give some attention to the back of the train. So on the little Christmas tree, I covered up the little platform it's on with some fake frosting stars. And then I added some fake Christmas presents to that as well. Since I didn't show you this on the other side, all I'm doing is I took a little bit of Mod Podge. I put a little bit of water in it so that it was very runny. And then I'm spreading that all over the train where it needs glitter. And then I'm using a chunky glitter, like a medium chunk, and a fine glitter as well. First, you start with your bigger, chunkier glitter and you work your way down to fine. And I used an iridescent glitter so that it would have that rainbow sheen to it. And then I just worked my way around the train, making sure I got all of the gingerbread surfaces covered with the glitter. So as you know from earlier, I tried many things to cover up the little poles that connect the wheels and the cars and everything. And I wasn't really happy with any of them. But I took some paper straws and I cut them in half and I just made them fit. And I thought that looked really cute. So I'll show you how I did that in the back. You can see I just cut the paper straw and then I cut it in half. And I'm just kind of holding it open and fitting it over the little parts. And then, cutting it down as needed. And I really struggled with what to do with this little pipe thingy that sticks out. So I just made another clay worm. I wrapped it around it and I added some fake whipped cream plus a fake candy around the top. So this is the completed train. I'm so happy with how it came out. I think it's so fun and beautiful and just captures the essence of gingerbread candyland. I just want to give you a good look at all those details on both sides and the front. If you like this tutorial, go ahead and leave me a comment. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so that you never miss a new tutorial from me. I have so many different projects lined up and I can't wait to show you.